my dear students, how are you all? I am Bashubi, your teaching buddy, and I welcome you all to study class 5 science with me by Science Horizon Technology Series, a unit of Amit Publishing House. So we are going to study unit 5, that is our natural resources, chapter 8, Earth and natural disasters. So the chapter contents are, what do we know about the planet Earth? We are living in our planet called Earth. What do we know about it? And what are some natural disasters? So what do we know about the Earth? Especially the planet, the Earth we are living in, we must know about its core part. So the Earth is a part of the solar system and it is the third planet from the sun. So अगर आप पूरे solar system को देखेंगे, Earth is the third planet. It is surrounded by a layer of air called atmosphere. Atmosphere contains several gases like nitrogen, oxygen and few other small components like argon, helium and hydrogen. So that makes life possible on the Earth. Earth pulls all objects towards itself through a force called gravitational force. अगर gravitational force Earth में नहीं होता तो we all would have been hanging. कुछ stability नहीं होती. We would not have been standing on the floor. So Earth rotates on an imaginary line called Earth's axis. Earth एक अपने imaginary line पे ही rotate करता रहता है. उसको कहते हैं Earth's axis. An imaginary line called the equator divides the Earth into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Northern is the upward, southern is the downward. Earth shows the movement, rotation and revolution. Rotation of the Earth on its own axis causes day and night. जो ये difference है between day and night, it is caused by the rotation of the Earth. Whereas revolution of the Earth that around the sun causes seasons. The seasons change होते हैं, summer season, winter season, rainy season. They are happening due to the revolution of the Earth around the sun. It is believed that Earth was very hot when it was newly formed. So when millions, trillions years of ago, I don't know when exactly, when the Earth was formed, it was supposed to be a hot balloon. It looked totally different from the Earth which we are living today. There were volcanoes and hot lava everywhere. Slowly, over many, many years, the Earth cooled down and the top layer of the Earth became cool enough, enough to harden. However, the inside of the Earth is still hot and molten. Now, what is inside the Earth? Earth के अंदर क्या है? The Earth में seems like it is a solid sphere. एक Earth का globe आपने देखा होगा, एक spherical structure है, solid sphere. The scientists who study the Earth have found that it is made up of layers of solid and liquid material. The Earth consists of three main layers: crust, mantle, and core. तो Earth के तीन main layers हैं: crust, mantle, and the core. Crust is the outer layer. Outermost layer Earth का क्या है? Crust. We live on this layer. तो हम लोग सबसे outer layer में रहते हैं Earth के, which is crust. We find landforms such as mountains, valleys, desert, plains, oceans, seas on the Earth. Crust is the thinnest layer of the Earth. तो जो crust जिस पे हम रहते हैं वो thinnest layer है. Earth's crust under the ocean is called the oceanic crust and it is about 5 kilometers thick. Earth's crust under the land is called the continental crust. तो ocean के अंदर का जो crust है उसको oceanic crust कहते हैं, which is 5 kilometers thick around. And जो इसके अंदर है land के soil ground के अंदर है उसको कहेंगे continental crust and it varies from 30 kilometers to 70 kilometers at different places. The crust contains all the things required for life on the Earth. It includes natural resources like coal and petroleum. Also, the main minerals found here are silicon, aluminium, calcium, and these are some of the important materials which are required to sustain life on Earth. Mantle. Now, after the crust layer, the next layer is mantle. This is the middle layer of the Earth lying just below the crust. It is just below the crust. You can see this is the crust layer where we live. And crust के बिल्कुल नीचे upper mantle है, then there is lower mantle. So it is composed of solid rock while the inner part contains molten rock. So mantle में क्या है? Basically there is solid rock and और उसके अंदर जाएंगे तो they have molten rocks known as magma. So when a volcano erupts, the magma flows into earth, and that forms lava. The rocks in the mantle primarily consist of the minerals of magnesium and iron. Now coming to core. Core, अगर आप और mantle के नीचे जाएंगे तो we are going to the core part of the earth. This layer is the innermost layer of the earth and it forms the center of the earth. So which part forms the center of the earth? Core. The core is divided into two parts, outer core and inner core. Outer core spans about 2500 kilometers thick. It contains molten iron and nickel. Sulfur is also present in this layer. The temperature in the outer core reaches approximately 5000 degrees centigrade. So almost nearly as hot as sun. The inner core, which is approximately 1250 kilometers thick, is a solid. So जो inner core है वो approximately इतना kilometer thick है, that is 1250, and it is as good as a solid. Pressure here is so high that the iron and nickel present here are in solid form. So this was about the inner part of the core. So at the center of the earth gravity is 0. तो core जो कि center part है यहाँ पे gravity 0 है. Now what are the earth satellites? A body is in space that moves around its another body in a fixed orbit is called a satellite. The earth has a natural satellite as well as several artificial man-made satellites. Natural satellite हम moon को कहते हैं. Moon is the earth's natural satellite because it keeps moving around the earth in a fixed orbit. So the earth's gravity keeps the moon in its orbit. Moon has its own gravity. Moon का खुद की एक gravity है. The gravity of moon is 6 times weaker than that of the earth. Moon की gravity earth की comparatively 6 times weak है. So you can see earth के आसपास moon एक fixed orbit में घूमता चला जाता है. So moon को एक natural satellite बोला गया है. The internal structure of the moon, it is very similar to that of the earth. It is also made up of layers like crust, mantle, core, and there is no air on the moon. Moon में कोई gas या air नहीं है, and it has lot of big holes which are called craters. Craters की वजह से ये moon में इस तरह से what we usually say कि moon में दाग दिखते हैं, that is because of these craters. Moon does not have a light of its own, but it uses the light of the sun. So when sunlight falls on it, it illuminates. Now landing on the moon, the first successful landing on the moon was achieved by a crew of American space mission called Apollo 11. It was launched from the Kennedy Space Center at Florida on July 16, 1969. Apollo 11 carried 3 American space astronauts that time: Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, and Michael Collins. So Armstrong and Aldrin boarded Apollo 11's lunar module, the Eagle, to reach the moon's surface. So it was the first one to land on the moon, that is in the year 1969. On July 20, 1969, Neil Armstrong became the first human to step on the moon. So these were the 3 astronauts who traveled along with the space shuttle, and Neil Armstrong was the first one to land on the moon. Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin spent about 2.5 hours on the moon surface collecting samples of the moon, rocks and dust. Michael Collins remained in the spacecraft orbiting the moon. So several artificial or human-made satellites have been launched to study the activity of the space. Now coming to artificial satellites, these are human-made satellites. Which are sent into space. They serve various purposes like including space exploration की space के अंदर क्या क्या activities है, क्या क्या gases हैं, क्या चीज develop होती है, scientific research, weather monitoring and forecasting, as well as telecommunication. Scientific satellites are used for collecting data and conducting scientific research in space exploration. Now, weather satellites, they play a crucial role in depicting the weather forecasting. So, meteorological department analyzes pictures and they send data studying all these weather changes, and this is how we come to know whether tomorrow there will be rain, tomorrow it will be sunny, there will be cool waves. So, it informs people to be prepared with floods and cyclones as well. Communication satellite orbits around the Earth and provides services such as mobile phones, internet, and global positioning system, that is GPS. Aryabhat was India's first satellite launched in 1975. So, which was the first India satellite? It was in the year 1975, called Aryabhat. India has launched several other satellites then after. Indian Space Research Organization, that is ISRO, is responsible for designing, building, launching and operating these. तो अभी recently कौन सा सबसे important landing हुई थी on moon? That was Chandrayaan 3 by ISRO. So INSAT 1A, the first operational multipurpose communication and meteorology satellite, was launched. Cartosat 1, an Earth observation satellite. Then EduSat, a communication satellite. Chandrayaan 3 Vikram, the first spacecraft to land the moon's south pole. On the Earth, there are natural events that take place which are in our control and it causes destruction, which are not in our control. Now, what are some natural disasters? तो natural disasters क्या होते हैं जो climatically हमारी अर्थ को डैमेज कर सकता है, which cannot be controlled and measured by us. So any natural event that causes significant damage and harm to the environment is called a natural disaster. Some natural disasters include earthquake, volcanic eruption, floods, cyclones, then droughts. So forest fires, these are natural disasters. Now, what are earthquake? An earthquake is a sudden quake or shaking of the earth that causes extensive damage to the life and properties. They are called tremors. Those shakes are called tremors. The Earth's crust is not a continuous layer. It has lot of layers. जैसे tiles के ऊपर tiles fixed होती हैं. It's made with a lot of plates, plating of several plates. These plates consist of large section of the Earth's crust along with the upper part and the Earth's mantle. The tectonic plates move slowly and sometimes they collide or slide against each other. This action generates vibration beneath the Earth's crust. These vibrations travel to the surface of the Earth, causing earthquake. The point under the ground where the earthquake originates is called the focus of the earthquake. तो जहाँ से earthquake generate होता है, start होता है, उसको हम focus कहते हैं. The point on the surface of the Earth that is right above the focus is called the epicenter. Focus के ऊपर वाला part epicenter होता है. Earthquake will be the strongest at the epicenter. Earthquake sends out vibration called seismic waves, and in all direction it forms starting from the focus. So scientists use an instrument called seismograph to read the scale of the earthquake vibration. The intensity of the earthquake is measured on a Richter scale, which ranges from 1 to 10. Earthquake with an intensity of 3 or less on the Richter scale are considered low intensity earthquakes and they do not cause much damage. तो अगर 1 से 3 तक की Richter scale में आती है तो ठीक है, that is tolerable, that doesn't cause much damage, but above that it causes severe harm to the environment and land, property and human. Earthquakes with an intensity of 5 or above are classified as destructive earthquakes. So ये seismograph instrument है which reads the Richter scale. This is the focus where it generates, and epicenter is the place where it starts causing damage, and it sends out vibration called seismic waves. Now, protecting ourselves during an earthquake. If you are indoor, take shelter under a large table or remain under until the shaking stops. Stay away from tall and heavy objects which can fall over you. Avoid glass windows as they may shatter and break during shaking. Do not use elevator if you are in a building. Use stairs. If you are outdoors, find a clear, safe spot away from buildings or tall towers and overhead power lines. Drop to the ground and stay under until the shaking stops. If you are in a car or a bus, do not exit. Ask the driver to drive slowly to a clear spot. Do not come out until the tremor stops. Now, what are volcanic eruptions? The coming out of lava, hot gases, ashes and rocks from the inside earth are called volcanic eruptions. So, a mountain or hill with a certain hollow tunnel called a vent through which hot gases and molten lava emerge they are known as volcano. तो mountains में, hills में एक tunnel की तरह से hot gases और hot airs they are passing out, तो उसको कहते हैं volcano. Volcanic eruptions take place due to the movement of the earth as well as the pressure inside the earth. तो earth की movement की वजह से, pressure की वजह से heat generate होता है, which converts into volcanic eruption. The hot lava flowing from volcano can cause significant damage to the property and life, everything in its path. Based on their eruptions, volcanoes can be classified into three main types called active volcano, dormant volcano, and extinct volcano. So active volcanoes वो होते हैं that have either erupted in the recent or past or may have erupted at any moment of the time. Mount Vesuvius in Italy, barren islands in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and Mount Fuji in Honshu, Japan are examples of active volcanoes. So active volcanoes are those that have erupted in the past or recent years. तो इस तरह के examples है Mount Fuji in Japan, then we have barren islands in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and Mount Vesuvius in Italy. Now, what are dormant volcanoes? Dormant volcanoes are those that have not erupted for many years, which are likely to erupt in the future. So they are sometimes called sleeping volcanoes. इनको sleeping volcano कहते हैं, वो कभी भी erupt हो सकता है. Right now they are calm. Mauna Kea in Hawaii, Macodam in Andaman Island, and Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania are examples of dormant volcanoes. Extinct volcano वो होते हैं those that are not expected to erupt any time in the future. So extinct हो गए हैं, वो erupt नहीं होंगे, but they are considered to be volcanoes. Mount Binoin in Australia and Hawaii Emperor Seamount Chain in the Pacific Ocean are examples of extinct volcanoes. So these are extinct volcanoes which will never erupt, and these are dormant which can erupt anytime. What are tsunamis? Tsunamis are caused by earthquakes and volcanic eruptions that occur beneath the sea. So these earthquakes cause large amount of water to rise and move with great speed towards land and they cover up the entire cities. As the waves reach the land, they turn into enormous waves and it causes large-scale destruction by washing away buildings, vehicles, and whatever coming on their way. In Japan, the tsunamis are called harbor waves. When a tsunami alert is given, people should vacate the seashore immediately and move to high grounds or taller buildings for shelter. So they are such high that they cover the entire city under their wave. What are cyclones? They are called hurricanes or typhoons. They are intense storms that form over oceans. Cyclone is a powerful spinning storm that contains strong winds and rain moving fast around a calm center called the eye of the storm. When like this, they become like eye of the storm. When a cyclone hits land, it becomes weak, but it carries with lots of rains and strong winds. तो cyclone के दौरान क्या होता है? There are storms, there are heavy rains, there are strong winds. Strong winds can destroy buildings and uproot trees. पूरे trees निकल आते हैं. Areas of the cyclone hits generally they get flooded. Then the Bay of Bengal gets seasonal cyclones that affect states such as Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. While in the Arabian Sea, cyclones they affect states such as Kerala and Maharashtra. So these are the effects of cyclone. What are floods? Heavy and continuous rainfall makes the river overflow. अगर there are seasons when there are non-stop continuous rainfall. So during that time, rivers and water bodies they come to overflow and they cover the entire nearby areas underwater. When dry lands get submerged underwater, it is said to be flooded. Coastal areas are more prone to flooding due to cyclones. Floods cause heavy damage to buildings and crops. In addition, it brings diseases as well, such as cholera and typhoid. Now, what are droughts? When there is very low fall, जब बिल्कुल low rainfall नहीं होती है for a very long period of time, there is scarcity of water. There is almost no water in some area. Scarcity of water called drought and it affects all living things as they cannot live without water. Some droughts are caused when winds that generally bring rain shift away from an area. So हवा जब clouds for rain को दूसरी तरफ shift कर देता है, that area causes drought. Human activities are also responsible for drought when people cut down large amount of trees. Deforestation is also one of the reasons for droughts. So it reduces the soil's ability to hold water, the ground gets dry and it leads to drought. Now what are forest fires? Forest fire is an out of control fire that destroys large areas of forest. Most forest fires occur during the dry summer months when leaves of the trees become very dry and the temperatures are high. If there is wind, the forest can spread very quickly. So, hawa se forest fire will cover the entire forest. Some forest fire can be extremely difficult to put out control. Smoke from the fire causes severe air pollution and breathing smoke from fires, and that can be harmful. Many animals lose their homes in forest fires and many plants get destroyed. What are the effects of natural disaster? Natural disaster cause loss of life and property. Natural disaster की वजह से क्या होता है? This bad impact on the lives of people, on animals, on living organisms and properties. They also lead to spread of diseases and it takes a long time to cure them. So, the Indian Armed Forces, Central Emergency Relief, Training Institution, then National Disaster Response, they all come into action for such kind of management. So, international organizations such as World Health Organization, WHO, United Nations Children Emergency Fund, UNICEF, Red Cross Society and World Vision International also provide assistance to people when there is such kind of tragedy happening in countries or worldwide. So, they all provide medicines, shelter and food to victims. Now let's recall once again what we have studied here. Earth is surrounded by a layer of air called atmosphere. Earth rotates on an imaginary line called its axis. Moon is the Earth's natural satellite. Moon has no light of its own. It uses sunlight to illuminate. Crust is the outermost layer of the Earth. We live on this layer. Earth's crust is not a continuous layer. Forest fire is out of control fire that destroys large areas of the forest. Now, coming to answering some questions, write a sentence each on the layers of the earth. So, you have to write sentences. So, there's crust, mantle, core. So, you have to go through the all the topics and learn it, and आप easily इस answer को complete कर सकते हैं. What is the difference between the focus and the epicenter of the earthquake? So, focus is the point where the earthquake starts from, rise होता है, generate होता है. And epicenter is the point where earthquake affects. It starts affecting at the epicenter. So, epicenter is just above the focus. What is an earthquake? So, our earth is made up of various plates. So, when there is disbalance in those plates, the earthquake happens. So, more in detail, you can write the answer after learning that topic. Write a short note on the effects of natural disaster. So, when there is natural disaster, there's huge impact on living organism, on land, on properties, on animals. So, it takes a toll on the life and property. And what is the difference between floods and drought? So, flood, when there is huge rainfall continuously over the year, throughout the season. So, rivers and water bodies, they come to overflow and they cover up the large amount of areas around them, and it causes several diseases like cholera, typhoid. Drought, on the contrary, is the dryness. It happens due to deforestation or cutting of large amount of trees. And also when there's scanty or absolutely no rainfall during the season, then drought occurs. So my dear students, these are few of the questions, but this chapter was quite lengthy and something very scientific which you must learn and understand. Please go through the chapter once again and learn the chapter and study it by heart. So till then, stay connected and excited for the clamp of our next video, and stay happy and healthy. Thank you so much.